This right here is nearly every run that's ever been submitted to the Minecraft Java Edition leaderboards on speedrun.com. A quick look on the website will lead you to many of these runs, those who have earned a spot in history by demonstrating their ability to load into a world, progress through the game, and defeat the Ender Dragon. There is, however, an entirely different side of this history, one that's easily overlooked but nearly as prevalent, since only around 58% of the names you see belong to verified runs. That leaves tens of thousands of submissions that for one reason or another were rejected. But why? Allow me to present to you a submission that I would classify as spam. The submitter clearly knew that linking something that wasn't a run wouldn't get verified, but despite that, they sent it in for verification. There is a lot of spam on the leaderboards, but more on that later, because there are also many real runs that get rejected for other reasons, such as the fact that they were using a disallowed mod or texture pack, the gamma level was over 5, the video doesn't exist, the submitted video is a path to the video file, they submitted to the wrong category, they didn't complete the category objective, or the submission didn't include the world seed in the description, to name a few. Every so often, however, the submitter did everything correctly, except for the slight caveat that they did it too many times. Take Fellsway for example. Over the course of 1 hour, they submitted their 42-minute 36-second 1.16 RSG run 15 times. Of those, 14 were rejected for being duplicates, while the original submission was verified. So, now that you know what fills up a considerable portion of this list, here is every category on the Minecraft Java Edition leaderboards. Currently, there are over 12,000 runs that have been rejected, the vast majority of them coming solely from any percent glitchless, which makes up at least 83% of all submitted runs. Despite the massive number, there are so many any percent glitchless runs that this still represents a 38% minority. In fact, 6 of the 10 categories have rejection rates between 30 and 40%, which takes me to the outliers. There are 3 categories where more than half of the runs get rejected, but one of them is different from the others. Any percent is not a category unique to Minecraft. It's found in many speedrun games, and basically means beating said game as fast as possible by any means necessary, often by utilizing game-breaking glitches. For whatever reason, however, when runs are submitted to Minecraft's any percent category, an outlandishly high percentage of them get denied, just over 82%. This is every documented instance of a run being rejected from the any percent leaderboard in chronological order, with each username colored based on their speedrun.com profiles. As the third most played category, any percent is the most rejected by a ridiculously high margin. But why? Well, for starters, you may notice something quite strange at the bottom of the poster. The colors suddenly become very red. In late July of 2022, speedrun.com decided that profiles belonging to new users would automatically be that color, which had the unintended consequence of revealing the enormous rate of fresh accounts that submit runs to the leaderboards. I, however, knew that the color of someone's username wouldn't tell me much, so I made the unfortunate decision of going through every rejected run in any percent, and what I found was insane. These are the spam submissions, all 398 of them. It represents 40% of all runs submitted to any percent, but there's a large section with hardly any spam. This immediately struck me as odd, so I decided to take a closer look. These are the rejections. For the user not putting the seed in the description, it seems like a bunch of people just forgot to do so when submitting during this time period, but you may have already guessed that the truth is not quite that simple. You see, what happened on precisely this day was the biggest cheating scandal in Minecraft speedrun history. When the mods released their video and document exposing Dream, the amount of runs rejected from any percent went up significantly. Dream, however controversial, brought enormous amounts of attention to Minecraft speedrunning, which caused more people to submit runs, and more runs to get rejected. This posed a problem for the verifiers, since it led to verification queues being backed up by months, and it eventually got to the point where the small but dedicated team just couldn't handle it anymore. at least without the assistance of an autofilter. If a run was submitted that met a certain criteria that instantly caused it to be invalid, a bot would prevent it from ever seeing the eyes of verifiers, saving them incredible amounts of time. This represents every single autofilter rejection. And this is every autofilter rejection for not having the seed in the description. If you weren't paying close attention, you probably didn't notice a change. And that's because there are only 14 instances where the autofilter didn't reject the run for not having the seed in the description. If we take another look at the spam poster, it all begins to make more sense. Let's say a user was to submit an unrelated video during this time period, but since they committed the ultimate crime of not adding a seed to the description, it would prompt a no seed rejection message. In other words, this sentence says absolutely nothing about a person's motive, and it eventually led to the mods phasing out the autofilter. But that also meant that my data on why runs got rejected was quite wrong. If I couldn't trust the rejection messages, what other choice was there but to go one by one through all 813 and categorize them myself, so I can once and for all understand why so many runs are getting rejected from any percent.
Holy shit. It's so much worse than I thought.
I want you guys to truly grasp the reality of the situation. For each time that someone submitted spam to the any percent leaderboard, a baseball will travel very fast at that poster. All right, here goes nothing. But first I need to properly calibrate the machine. And now that it's calibrated, let's begin. You know, if you want, you could get these mouse pads for yourself. Designing them only took like 3-4 years off my life. Here's the link to get them. Hopefully I remember to edit it in. It's good, it's good. This is what a poster that has been hit by 579 baseballs looks like.
Yes, that's correct. Over 71% of these names submitted spam to the leaderboards. If you don't believe me, feel free to go and check, but I'm not really sure why you're surprised that the likes of Lord 1332457G, among many other totally normal usernames, would dare taint the leaderboards with spam. In fairness though, not all spam is created equal.
You have people who submit random videos. A very popular one is the classic Rickroll. But then you've got your wannabe world record holders, who attempt and always fail to reap the rewards of someone else's hard work. But by far the biggest subsection of spam submitters are those who won't dare stoop to the level of video theft. Rather, they prefer to put their own twist on the rejected run, from using creative mode to beat the game, to using creative mode to beat the game. Each one was just as funny as the last, even after going through 279 runs that I classified as dumb meme speedruns.
34% of this poster consists solely of these submissions, which is kind of insane, but it doesn't answer the real question. Why? With so many different categories, did people choose any percent as the place to submit their spam run?
So, why'd you do it? I caught you red-handed. Just admit it already. Your days of submitting spam are numbered. I've traced the source via sent, and it's brought me right here. Okay, I give up. But if you enjoyed this video, check out this one where I go through the most interesting rejected runs.